Hello, Wendy Schultz here, CEO and founder of the Simple Life Hospitality. Today I want to tell you about some obvious and not so obvious ways that you might be able to increase your bookings and also your nightly revenue in your vacation rental. The first one is professional photos. I would highly recommend that you get a professional photographer, even if you are a photographer on the side and think you have really good photos. We do recommend that you get someone who is specialized in property photos because they can make a place look like $1 million, and people really are looking for that when they are out there looking at properties. And a property that has good photos versus a property that doesn't have such great photos, they're probably going to pick the one with the better photos. Number 2, white linens. This is not maybe an obvious one, but a lot of people do a dark comforter, which actually in the photos is kind of, it shows up as dark, and white just gives a feeling of cleanliness. It's crisp, it's clean, and we find that people appreciate having those white linens in properties, and that is just a quick way that you can freshen up the look of the property. Another thing, a sleeper sofa or a futon. If you can add some more sleeping space for people to sleep, that can add like $50 a night at times. And if you're paying for a sleeper sofa or a futon and it's a few $100s, maybe $1,000, maybe a little more than that, you can easily make that up by being able to charge more because you're able to fit more people into your property. Another one is separate sleeping spaces. And similarly, if you can, when you go to a place and you expect to have, for families, they want to have some bunk beds perhaps, or twin beds. And, they might have a king bed for the parents and then the kids have twin beds. But if you're thinking about it in other places too, so let's just say you're in a fishing location where a whole bunch of guys like to come together and fish, you really need to have separate beds. And sometimes by adding those separate sleeping spaces, that actually can increase your bookings and your revenues, because then if you have a futon out in the living room, then a guy can sleep out there, and then the queen bed, another guy can sleep in there. And it's actually, different sleeping spaces, because not a lot of guys like to sleep in the same bed, at least the ones I know. So it's just a good way for you to be able to fit people who are unrelated and don't want to sleep in the same bed, or just like to have their own privacy. So that's another great way. Another way is to allow pets. Now, this is absolutely a matter of personal preference, but a way that you can increase your bookings is by allowing those pets. And you're also going to find, though, that if you do allow pets, you are actually going to isolate another group of people who has pet allergies. So you do have to be careful about that. But by allowing pets, you can usually increase the rate a little bit. And also, people are looking for a place to have pets, and properties that we've put side by side, one allows pets, one doesn't allow pets. The other one did a lot better that allowed pets. And it was just a good way for people to bring their family members, their furry family members. Another way is doing shorter minimums. So instead of having a 7-day minimum stay and then giving kind of a weekly discount, you could do shorter stays and, a 2-night minimum, 3-night minimum. And because you're doing a shorter stay, you can actually increase the nightly rate. So that's another way you can do that. Having a favorable cancellation policy. So instead of saying, you book, you're not going to get any kind of refund if you need to cancel, having a favorable cancellation policy. When people are looking for a vacation, and then this one has a better cancellation rate policy than this one, you're going to have a better chance of them booking the one that has the better cancellation policy. Now, you don't want any cancellations. They do happen, but they don't happen that frequently. So just even having that policy is enough to help someone book your property over another property. Another thing is dynamic pricing. So what we find is a lot of owners will have a static rate. They will have, let's just for sake of argument, $200 a night, always, or $200 a night on the weekdays and $250 a night on the weekends. And that's the same price all year round. and they're not paying attention to the fact that you actually have some festivals that might be going on where the entire area is booked, and you can raise the rates during those time frames. Or there's areas or time frames when the demand is really low and you can lower those prices. Those are that's a really good way to be able to even out your revenues in, filling in those gaps, raising the rates when the demand is high, lowering the rates when the demand is low, and get really focus on getting those revenues up necessarily, or more so than the occupancy. Occupancy is something that a lot of people talk about, but what really matters at the end of the day is how much revenue is coming in. And when you can get those higher rates during the time when the demand is high and people are willing to pay more, that's a good time to raise your rates. And then if there's time where the demand is low and you just want to get it filled, that's where you lower those rates. And the other thing is good reviews. Focus on those good reviews, because the good reviews are the difference between having someone stay in this place or that place. And especially those first reviews are so critical. And, over time, if you get a bunch of 5-star reviews and then you get a 3-star review, that evens it out. But in the beginning, you really have to make those experiences special so that people are going to leave you a good review. So those are my tips for some quick ways that you can, increase your revenues in your bookings. And hope you had a great day. Thanks. Bye.